Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the strongest teams for the Open Great League. Great League is going to be back again here for another week, and today we're going to take a look at the top 10 strongest team. If you haven't seen my last top team video for the Great League, I took a look at the top 10 fun teams for at least me to play for the Go Battle League, and today we're going to take a look at the strongest teams to play. So, of course, if you enjoy these videos, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive right into 10 teams I would recommend you to try out if you want to climb. We're going to have here the first team, a very toxic line. We're going to have a lineup of a Torterra, the Jonkus, as well as the bastiodon. And honestly, I made a video towards this team already last season. At this point, maybe there's a video already towards this team as well. I definitely did play it already, and I did make a video. I don't know if I already published it at this point. But this team is very toxic. This team is very strong, and this team is going to have next to no real weakness. Torterra Bastion core is absolutely fantastic. You can, by the way, also use instead of the Bastion the carbing. Carbing works out quite well as well here. But basically, you're going to have with Jonkus as a scizor, the perfect middleman here for this team. I guess one weakness that this team has now this season that is a little bit more relevant is that if you face an ice type lead, it can be a bit tricky because you have the double weakness to ice. But if you want to avoid this even further, you could also swap the team around, use your Bastion in the lead, use your scizor over the Jonkus and Torterra on the back. This would work out absolutely well as well here. This would absolutely be fine here as well. But yeah, this is a very strong team. Torterra counters kind of the weaknesses of Bastion, which is kind of funny because the types itself don't really make too much sense. But then if you take a look what really is good against the Bastion itself, it's going to be like ground type Pokemon, which Torterra is going to be able to resist the damage of. This is one of the only Pokemon that can actually resist every damage of the Marowak here, the Torterra, which is kind of funny as well. And then we're going to have here the scizor, our Jonkus, which can bait out a lot of Pokemon that Bastion is weak against, especially like those Steel-type Pokemon, which can be a little bit tricky. You're going to have Aura Sphere for them. And yeah, generally speaking, this is a very solid team. It's a team that I would really recommend you to try out. I tried out multiple times already, and it was always very strong for me. Next up, we're going to have a team here on the scizor. Scizor is such a broken Pokemon, still even in this meta. It is so overpowered with the Shadow bonus on top of the Bullet Punch. It just hurts so hard. Like, it's the Pokemon that you want to invest kind of 2 shields in. And this is why we have 2 very bulky Pokemon in the back. We're going to have the Azumarill and the Corsola, which together form a very good core together as well, which is here on the screen in the middle as well. Basically, those cover each other's weaknesses perfectly. And the thing is here as well, where I would like to have Corsola over any kind of other ghost type Pokemon is because you have the coverage of Power Gem, because the only real weakness of the scizor is like fire type Pokemon. That's the only weakness that the bug in steel typing has. And yeah, you're gonna have coverage with both of your Pokemon. Azumarill is a scizor for this team if you counter fire type, but you still have Power Gem in the back from the Corsola in order to deal with those fire type Pokemon as well, which makes this team absolutely fantastic. Like, this team is really, really strong. Only Morpeko is really difficult for this team to deal with. But then again, also Morpeko doesn't want to go into the 2-shield scenario against Shadow Scizor, especially if you Trailblaze and boost yourself up as well. Like, it's going to hurt quite a bit against this very squishy Pokemon. Next up, I have a team here that I just wanted to include because I just lost against it. This is a team that I battled against, like Dancing Rob, a former world champion as well in Pokemon GO. I kind of want to include it here as well because I feel like it's a cool team. Spiritomb is very good this season, got buffed, and Sableye got buffed, and those two together with Azumarill is quite reminds me of a very old school team. There was a team back in the day where we had Azumarill, Sableye, and then something like a Marowak, for example, a lone Marowak in the back. But this is kind of one adaptation that is a bit more modern, which I like a lot. I think this team is absolutely fantastic. And as you're going to see, like also on paper, it looks like a very solid team to run. There are a few Pokemon that are quite neutral. I guess could be a bit of a weakness as well if you consider like for the backline, but you still have Azumarill to deal with it. But generally speaking, this team is fantastic. Sableye here, of course, is our scizor. But to be fair, both of them work as a scizor depending on what you face in the lead. You kind of want to go into the worse version against it. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting team. I think it's a solid team. It's a team that kind of utilizes a lot of old school Pokemon as well with the Azumarill and Sableye. But we can move on now to the next team, team number 4. which is a team that still kind of functions well. We're going to have a team here with Stunfisk, the Primeape, as well as the Golisopod as a potential scizor option, then the Talonflame in the back. Itself, the Talonflame can use other flying type Pokemon as well, by the way. You can use Jumpluff, you can use, for example, the Drifblim. They would all make a lot of sense here for this team, because what you kind of want to do is you kind of want to have a Pokemon in the back that can counter the big weaknesses of a Stunfisk, which is ground as well as the grass typing. And you need just a flying type for that, which flying type really depends on what you want to achieve here. Like, you can use any kind of flying type on the back here, in my opinion, that can kind of do that. Talonflame has, though, the benefit to be very solid against the Wigglytuff as well, which could be a little bit awkward with the Scizor that you have here as well, especially as the Wigglytuff has ice type coverage as well, which is going to be awkward for the lead then. But generally speaking, this team is very balanced. It's been around for quite a while now. I think I first had this team in a top team video like 2 or 3 seasons ago, because it's such a strong team, and yeah, like, it's a very good team to run. Stunfisk is amazing in this current meta still. It's a very good anti-meta Pokemon, and we can move on to team number 5. Which is going to make my team around the Ludicolo. I think this is a fantastic team to run. We're going to have the Wigglytuff, the Ludicolo, and the Jelson in the back. Ludicolo is our scizor here. Ludicolo as well, which I have to say, against me, a lot of times pressure shield quite well, because I don't really have a lot of times a good answer directly to this Pokemon. The only real answers to this Pokemon are like flying and normal type Pokemon, in my opinion. But even then, like, you're still going to be able to go for the Weather Ball Water, which is gonna hurt quite a bit. At least as a potential nuke option is really nice as well. For this team, what I liked as well is you can use Ice Beam as a potential coverage move on Ludicolo as well if you want to. This covers a potential Dragon type Pokemon that will swap into you because they don't want to face the Wigglytuff. I feel like this would be an interesting video as well, but because I don't have charge TMs, I'm not going to do that anytime soon. But this is a very solid team to run. I would really recommend you give it a try. There's not really a big weakness to this team here. The worst Pokemon to face is a Wigglytuff itself, and that is still manageable because you have your own Wigglytuff. You still have damage that comes through with the other 2 Pokemon as well. That's going to be neutral. Just the fast moves are resisted, and that's why it's a bit of a tougher matchup here. And we can move on to team number 6. Which is a very old school team. Obamasto got buffed, the Sableye got buffed, and the Azumarill we already saw before, but also Jelson works out well here. This can be a triple buff team, it can be a double buff team, depending on what you want to use as your closer. Azumarill makes it a little bit easier against Sableye, which is seemingly the only real weakness here, but I wouldn't even say it is a weakness, because Obamasto still can actually deal quite well with it, as you go to outspeed it with a Weather Ball, and then Sableye is going to be neutral, so like, it's not really the worst matchup at all. I think that the Sableye goes down as well in the 2-shield scenario against the Obamasto, so like, it is going to be a very, very solid team with basically 0 weaknesses in the current meta, which is kind of fantastic. I do think that the Azumarill most likely gives you a little bit more stability in the back there. I think it would be the better Pokemon to use instead of the Jelson, now thinking about it, but both of them are going to be totally fine. Jelson is going to be a bit better against Fortress, for example, which could be a bit of an issue as well for this team. But yeah, let's move on to the next team here. Team number 7 is going to be basically my go-to team currently. Like, this is honestly my go-to variant of a team. Doublade lead, this is honestly, in my opinion, one of the strongest leads possible currently. We have the Scizor third, where you can use Licky, you can use basically any of the standard Scizor normal type Pokemon. And then we have in the back here the Umbreon, which is absolutely underrated. Umbreon is absolutely fantastic, like, honestly. I tried to stream out, I hope that the video is out already at this point while I, publish this video as well to the public. But Umbreon is a must play. Like, honestly, Umbreon is so broken now. Definitely, if the video's out already, check out the video towards this team. This was fantastic. It was one of my favorite teams, and my favorite team that I have used so far this season, because it has so much stability. There's basically no matchup that's bad for you. The worst thing actually that can happen to you, okay, is if you're going to have a fighting type stopping into your normal type, that's going to be then Annihilate or the Primeape, because then they have like still coverage against the Doublade. But even then, you can still deal with it. Usually, it's still do damage with your Scizor. Third does fast damage against Annihilate, while Licky is going to have Shadow Ball, of course, to actually force shields, and you're still going to be okay at the end of the day. But that's the worst thing that can happen to the team. The rest is so balanced out. The Scizor always baits out the Wigglytuff, which is going to be amazing as well. Like, this team is honestly my go-to team. If I would have to choose one team, I would go for this one, honestly. But there's another contender, which is at the number 10 spot, which I would really recommend you to take a look at as well. This is, though, with my favorite Pokemon in the current meta, which is Toucannon. Honestly, Toucannon kinda is my favorite Pokemon currently to run. The reason is this Pokemon can one-shot with a resisted hit a Shadow Empoleon with a Beak Blast, which is ridiculous. I had that happening in a video towards the Pokemon as well. Again, I don't know when I actually release all the videos. I can have to pre-produce because I should be at this point when you're listening to this one, hopefully farther already. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I kind of want to, of course, enjoy the time there, and so I have a little bit of stuff pre-produced. We're going to have here the Gaston and the Corviknight as well as the toucannon. Again, this is a team that I showcased actually now multiple times on this channel. It's amazing. It's a very good, solid team to run. I would really recommend you to give it a try, and we can move on to team number 9. Which is going to be one of the most toxic teams that I showcased already last season, and I think it's a broken team as well. The only real weakness for this team is honestly Torterra or Toadsquirrel mainly. Toadsquirrel is the worst Pokemon, but Toadsquirrel is not nowhere to be found anymore. Torterra kind of disappeared as well a little bit with the Ice type update. But yeah, this Pokemon got just, like this team here itself, got just stronger this season. And even if you play against Torterra with this team, Marowak still actually is able to do quite a lot of damage to the point that Torterra very likely goes down as well after a while. And then your backline is usually freed, especially if you see like the team that we just had earlier in number 1 spot. You still actually can deal with this team here, which is kind of mad. But yeah, we have the Marowak in the lead, the Steelix and Scizor, and the Bastion in the back. This here is broken. Like, try it out. It is so unbalanced, but with that so balanced itself, it's ridiculous. Of course, if you have a Mudslammer in the back as well, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But yeah, this team is very strong. I battled it multiple times already this season, and it's a team that I showcased already last season as well. So definitely give it a try again, and we can move on to the final one for today. We're going to have one of the cheapest teams, but also one of the most broken teams. We have Empoleon, we have the Scizor of Gurgeist or the Wigglytuff, and Altaria in the back. Empoleon Altaria core has been around for ages now, but honestly, this team itself is so much better this season because Dedenne got nerfed to the point where nobody is running Dedenne anymore, which completely frees up the Empoleon Altaria core. This was the one core breaker for this core previously. It is gone. There's no alternative to Dedenne that breaks its core, and so yeah, this is a broken team. Honestly, I would really recommend you to give it a try. It is my second favorite team after basically the team at number 7 spot, which you saw already. This is absolutely fantastic. It's a cheap team to run. It's an absolute must-have to play as well. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.